Welcome back, everyone. I'm Coach Kevin.
It's Coach Ronnie.
And today is Monday, April 27th, and we have the workout draft recap for you today. Before we get started, we're going to have Coach Ronnie warm us up.
All right, guys, so for today's warm-up, we have 3 rounds of movement getting us ready for 3 different movements we have in today's WOD. First, starting out, we're going to start on the floor in a push-up position. We're going 5 dive bombers. So you're going to pike yourself up into that downward dog, shoot your body through into that cobra pose. You're going through 5 reps. Really trying to focus on opening up that spine, opening up that core, getting your arms active and ready to press through some movements throughout today's workout. From there, we'll move into 10 pass-throughs. So if you have a band, a bar, PVC pipe, whatever you have to use for the pass-throughs, just going to go through 10 reps. Again, getting our shoulders loosened up, warmed up for today's WOD. Right? As we finish that, we have 5 per side with an overhead press. So something light, if you have a light dumbbell, or just a light object that you can hold to go through 5 presses per side. Again, warming up those shoulders. Once we finish those overhead presses, we're now moving into 10 alternating scorpions. So you're returning to the floor, the bottom of that push-up position. You spread your arms out, T-shape, and what you're looking to do now is bring the opposite foot towards the opposite hand. Just really trying to twist through, open up the shoulders a little bit more. Again, continue to work on opening up that torso as you go through these movements. Again, there's 10 alternating scorpions, so 10 total reps through every time you get to that movement. We finally finish each round with 10 air squats. So the first round is going to get a traditional squat stance. Go through 10 solid air squat reps. Really trying to focus on getting good range of motion, keeping yourself balanced and centered in your foot. Right, when we return back to the top for our second and third round, we're going to switch up the stance of our squats. So in that second round, you're going to bring your feet in a little more narrower, a little more hip width distance, getting back down into that squat. Again, maintaining good, solid position with the squat and range of motion, and also foot position, staying balanced. That third round, when we return to the air squats, we're going to bring our feet even closer, ideally touching, and getting into those 10 air squats again. This is getting us ready for those pistol squats in the workout today. So again, the warm-up is 3 rounds, 5 dive bombers, 10 pass-throughs, 5 overhead press per side, 10 scorpions, remember 10 total reps on that scorpions, and then 10 air squats with the shift in the feet each round. Finish up that warm-up and get ready for the WOD.
The workout we have for you is draft recap. It's going to be a 20-minute AMRAP, and it's going to be 5 double presses, 10 deficit push-ups, 15 pistol squats. So what we're going to focus in on first is doing that double press. So we're going to have Coach Ronnie demonstrate the double press here. We're going to go through 2 full complete reps, and then we'll break down the movement here a little bit. And with that double press, it's essentially getting that body to lay flat on the ground, and then bringing those dumbbells up overhead in one fluid motion. So the big thing we want to focus in on when we get to the double press here today is really loading up that posterior chain. The glutes, the hamstrings, the hips, that lower back is really what's going to generate a lot of the power, bringing those dumbbells up overhead, not just curling the weight and trying to press them up overhead. So as Coach Ronnie reaches down, grabs his dumbbells, lays flat on the ground, you want to think of it just like a burpee, bringing those feet out wide and landing flat-footed. Now from this position, he's going to be able to load up that posterior chain by driving the dumbbells back before bringing them up overhead. What we're going to do next is bringing the dumbbells down to the shoulder and then replacing them back down onto the ground, getting ourselves set up for that next repetition, kicking the legs back. Again, bringing the feet wide, landing flat, hiking the dumbbells back, and then bringing them up overhead in one fluid motion. The big thing we want to look out for is when Coach Ronnie's up overhead, in the overhead position with the dumbbells, is when he's going to set himself up for the next repetition, he's not just going to drop the dumbbells out in front of him and put a lot of strain on that lower back. What we want Coach Ronnie to be able to do, and for you, is to bring them down to the shoulder first, then replace them on the ground under control so that you can get yourself set up for that next repetition. And again, loading up that posterior chain, driving through the hips, treating it much like a kettlebell swing and a burpee kind of combined together for that movement. So if you only have one dumbbell, you still can do the double presses here today in the workout. Essentially everything is going to stay the same. The big thing that we're going to look for, again, Coach Ronnie's going to reach down, kick those legs back, bring the feet in wide, landing flat-footed, bringing it up overhead. Now if Coach Ronnie faces in front, the big thing we're going to look for is making sure that he doesn't twist his body because he only has that one dumbbell or kettlebell. So that is goes to hike it back, keeping shoulders hips and square forward, and then bringing the weight up overhead. Good. And then let's go one more, Coach Ronnie. And again, what we want to make sure is keeping the shoulders hips square to the front as we set ourselves up for that next repetition in that double press if we only have the one dumbbell. Good. All right. Moving on to the next movement, we have the dumbbell deficit push-ups. So the biggest thing that we want to focus in on, just like we do with any of our other push-ups, is really that hand position, making sure that our hands aren't way up by our shoulders and our elbows flared way out to the side. That we want to make sure that when we're into the bottom of that push-up, those hands are down by that rib cage, and that Coach Ronnie's elbow is actually below that 90 degrees in these deficit push-ups. So Coach Ronnie's going to press himself back up, be able to come back down in one straight line. Notice from his shoulders all the way down to his ankles, his body stays rigid. He's going to bend at the elbow, lowering his entire body as one unit, and then pressing back up. Good. And again, the big focus is, with that deficit, is we're actually going to get that elbow to go below that 90 degrees, kind of buy a little bit more range of motion, trying to make those push-ups a little bit more difficult. Again, if you only have the one dumbbell, we still can do these push-ups. The big thing that we're going to focus in on, again, is just trying to keep that body fairly square to the ground. We don't need a big twist in the torso. Obviously, you're going to feel that one side have to work a little bit more that's holding onto that dumbbell before you move it on to that other side. So there's going to be our deficit push-ups. If you can't do all 10 of the push-ups, or if you know you struggle with push-ups, we definitely would recommend either just doing regular floor push-ups, or obviously you can even go down to the knees and then still do those deficits, trying to get that extra range of motion. So that just gives you some modifications that you can do for the push-ups. Now the big focus today is really going to be into the pistol squats. So first thing we're going to do is have Coach Ronnie demonstrate 2 good pistols for us, one on each leg. So as Coach Ronnie goes down, he's going to bring the other leg out in front, squat down below 90 degrees, and then be able to stand back up on that one leg. So the big thing with the pistol, it requires a bunch of things. One, a lot of flexibility in order to be able to have that leg out in front, a lot of coordination for that balance to remain on one leg, and then the leg strength just to be able to move his body weight just on the single leg. So again, the full pistol, if you have the ability to do it, again, we want to try to keep that heel flat on the ground on our leg that we're squatting with, the other leg being out in front, using those arms as a balance, keeping them out in front of us as we need to, and then again, being able to get to that bottom of that squat and stand up, and then hopefully being able to have that control and that good balance, being able to stand all the way up before bringing that foot down. Now again, if we need to modify the movement here today, there's 2 modifications that we're really going to focus in on. The first one's going to be the squat to pistol, and then this one's really good to help develop the strength in order to be able to complete the pistol. So what we're going to do is Coach Ronnie squat to the bottom. He's going to kick one leg out in front and then stand up from that position. What this is really going to do, it's going to load up his opposite leg that he's trying to squat with and develop that strength of coming out of the bottom of the squat. Coach Ronnie's doing a great demo, showing you having that control, that nice balance in the bottom of the squat first, then getting the leg out there, then getting it up. So we definitely really want to treat this as some separate movements of squatting down with both legs, making sure that you have control of that leg out in front before you start to stand back up. So again, one more time in the demo, Coach Ronnie's going to get to the bottom of the squat, stick one leg out, stand back up, and then squat down with 2 legs before he stands back up on that one single leg. Good. And again, that modification really will help develop the strength in the legs if you're unable to do the pistols. The second modification that we have today is doing some pistol squats off the box. Now this one is going to be more focused in on if you have less flexibility or mobility that prevents you from being able to hold your leg out in front, but your legs have the strength in order to be able to squat up and down. So with this one here, Coach Ronnie's going to be towards the edge of the box. He's going to have his leg out in front, and then we're going to complete that full pistol, squatting down on one leg, coming back up. Now as you can see, Coach Ronnie, when he does the pistol squat off the box, his leg goes below the box. And obviously if he were on the ground, that's where his foot would run into the ground and he wouldn't have that full range of motion. So being elevated slightly up on the box allows Coach Ronnie to be able to do the pistol squat to the full range of motion, but not having his mobility or lack of flexibility get in the way of cutting down some of that range of motion. So again, this will be kind of one that you can work on as well too, to see how you can improve it. You can actually start to lower the box that you're on, to get a lower box, a smaller step. If it's a stack of weights, you can start to take away some of those weights if you start to improve that flexibility in order to be able to do that pistol fully on the ground. So what we want you guys to do now is continue to warm up, practice some of those modifications in the pistol squat and then even on the double presses. And then we'll come back here and we'll talk about strategy for the workout. Strategy for today's workout is going to be a longer AMRAP, so you know you have to work for that entire 20 minutes here today. So what we really want to think about is just staying smooth and steady and keep solid repetitions. We want our first minute repetitions, essentially to look like our minute 20 repetitions. So you don't have to rush right out the gate, just trying to get as many rounds and reps as you can. Make sure that you're really trying to focus in on training your body and then being more efficient and more effective at each of the movements that we have today. When it gets to the double presses today, if you only have one dumbbell, what we want to be able to do is do all 5 of your double presses on the one side. When you get in and complete the round, then move that dumbbell to the other side to do your 5 double presses on the other arm.
All right, guys, after you finish the double press, let's focus on being sound with our push-ups. All right, if we know 10 push-ups is something that we can handle very early on, but later on in the rounds, we may have to break them up. It may be wise for us to think about a way that we can break them up early just so we can keep moving efficiently throughout the workout. If you know for sure 10 push-ups is not going to be something you can do right out the gate, let's think about a solid rep scheme that's going to allow you to break these up probably no more than 3 sets if possible. From there, if you're only using one dumbbell for the deficit push-ups, let's think about doing a 5 and 5 break if you know you have to break up. So 5 push-ups on the one side, switching the dumbbell to the other hand, complete the 5 out of 10. If you know you're sound with the 10 push-ups, let's keep that one dumbbell on one side, go through the 10, and then when we get back to that next round, we switch to the opposite hand. On the pistols, let's pick a challenging option for us to maintain throughout the entire 20 minutes with that scaling versions of the pistols that we've talked about. So think about something that allows you to complete the movement, but also going to challenge you to maintain good form and solid positioning throughout each movement. So whether it's the squat, the pistol, the box, or the regular pistol, you find which one's going to work best for you and allow you to keep moving throughout for the full 20 minutes. Once again, guys, as you always, any questions you have, feel free to shoot them in the Sugar WOD app or message us directly. We'll do our best to get back to you. Anything specific. Have fun, rock out, start the week off on a good note.